There is one reality, just one. We call it non-duality. There's no parts within this reality, this existence. Call it the divine, call it God. Certainly call it yourself, because there is only one. Most people intuit the truth of this. They can intuit that everything's interconnected. They can feel how maybe it's all one energy or all one life force pervading everything. They see how things die and are reborn again out of the same substances. This is good. This is good. It's good to feel how everything's interconnected and feel that you're not an island separate from all else. And yet enlightenment is something far deeper than feeling the interconnectedness of all things. Self-realization or enlightenment is actually knowing the one without parts as self. And knowing is not a knowing of something else objective. It's a deep inner knowing that is existence itself, or being as self. Unbifurcated, without parts. In Advaita we call it being, which is unlimited existence without time or space. Consciousness, because it's aware. It, you, it's not an it. It is yourself, is always eternally aware. What is it aware of? It's not aware of anything else, any other object. It is simply awareness itself. You are awareness itself. Being, consciousness, and bliss, because knowing this being, this existence, awareness of your own existence as it truly is utterly and completely blissful. Existence is blissful. Now, some people say, well, why do you call your church present non-existence then? Present non-existence refers to its practice. Because there is no time that you do not exist. Existence is your true nature. But the non-existence refers to you're not existent as any particularized thing. And it refers to practice because most people yearning for self-realization, yearning for understanding, take themselves to be a people. They take themselves to be somebody. That's where the non-existence comes in. If you understand clearly what your real existence is, you'll fully understand that you're not existent as a separate entity. That's just not the case. There is no separate entity if you look at it clearly. And that's what this way is all about. Simply looking clearly at your own existence. What is it? Who am I? So by any means possible, understand what this non-duality is all about for you. Not intellectually, but for you. How can it be that there's only one? And if there's only one, then why do I feel separate? Who am I? If there's only one, why does it seem like there's me and then everything else outside of me? That's not one, that's two, or many. So question it for yourself. What is non-duality? Who am I? And it's said that you've got to finally get to the place of understanding the seer and the seen. That's what I want to talk about today. Having no discrepancy between the seer and what is seen. In self-realization, everything seen is yourself. And even deeper than that, there is nothing seen. There is only self. So feel those words for yourself. Try on for size the fact that everything you see is yourself. How does that feel? Now, some people, when looking for truth, they go about looking for it outside of themselves. You go to a spiritual bookstore, you look in books, you're looking for truth somewhere in some teaching. Go to some teacher, and many teachers will say, yes, look at me. I will give you the truth. And if you look at me hard enough, maybe you'll turn into me, or something like that. We don't teach that here. The only purpose for a teacher in this way is to show you where to look, to find yourself. We don't say look at the teacher per se. The teacher's useful, and the teaching, this is an ancient, amazing, beautiful teaching which is ultimately useful, but the essence of this teaching, as taught by Sri Ramana Maharshi, is look to yourself to find the truth. Who am I? And thousands of people have heard these words, and very few have realized. You can hear the words 1,000 times and never do it. Who is there to do it? Ask yourself that. But until it's clearly understood, the advice given is do it. Ask yourself, inquire, who am I? Who am I? Who is it that sees the world? Who is it that sees these dreams at night? Who is it that makes this whole thing real? Who am I? Who is aware? Don't just give it a casual look. If it takes a whole lifetime, that's fine. Don't worry about time, because when you understand, you'll see that the time was not. And you never were away from the perfect, blissful self that you are. But if this isn't clear, do take the time to give yourself this happiness of knowing the truth, because there's no peace until you fully, fully know the truth of your own existence. Nothing could be more blissful, and nothing else will feel right, and nothing else will feel like home other than knowing yourself as the one perfect self of all. So back to seeing and seen. Instead of looking outside of yourself to see the truth, look to the seer. How does the seer see itself? Well, try it out. That's what we're asking you to do. See the seer. If you see anything, well, is that the seer? Is the seer what it sees? Ask it for yourself. Let's just take it on a very gross physical level. If you look at an object, how can you see that object? You could say the eye, the eyeball, sees the object. Well, it's pretty clear that that organ, that little piece of meaty flesh, in itself is not the thing that has the power to see an object. There's something else that sees. What is it, your brain, your mind? Is that the power that makes you able to see an object? Where does this power of seeing come from? In dreams at night, you can see very clearly in some dreams, even more clearly than the so-called waking state. Some dreams are so detailed and vibrant, and there's a quality of seeing objects, but yet there's no eyeball there. Or you could say might be a dream eyeball seeing these dream objects. But what we're trying to get at is, for yourself, where does this awareness or power of seeing come from? What is the source? And it's not something you can just think about. You know, you use your mind, use this philosophy of Advaita as a constructive tool, but you've got to go deeper than this thinking. So use these words I'm telling you, not to try to remember and figure out in an intellectual way, but in deep meditation practice. You can remember the words. She said, who is the one that sees? So feel it deeply, don't just think about it. In my own experience, who sees objects? Who is aware? So if you want to get to that point of everything you see is yourself, or is the divine self, which will give you a great sense of oneness with the whole world, you've got to understand who sees. Do not look to what is seen, but find out who is the seer. If you love your wife and you want to figure out who she is, and you look and look and try to look at her and figure it out, it's going to be very difficult. But if you look to see who is looking at that beautiful wife, who sees, who's aware, you will know your wife deeper, on a deeper level, if you know yourself, because you and her are the same, one. But to know her, know yourself, and then you will know that what you see there, your friends, your family, this whole world, is nothing but this one perfect self. To know it, know yourself. To know what the world is the question everybody asks. Know yourself. Who sees the world? You. If you're not seeing the world, there is no world there. You have the power. Not the you, the little humanoid creature. There's a much deeper you, and this is what we're pointing to. Who am I? So, you can take the seen to be an object in the world and look to the seer, or you can take the seen to be everything that occurs in mind. All states of mind are the seen. Your whole waking state of mind is something seen. It's something you, not the little you as a human form, but you are aware of this whole state of mind. What you might call all past, all future thoughts, everything that had ever occurred is the seen. There's something that's aware of the whole thing. And this, the name we give this is the witness. the witness would be the seer of all states of mind, everything that occurs, the whole dream, both the night dream and the daydream. Everything that ever happens, ever, is the seen. It is objective. Who sees it? In your own experience, who is the one that sees? If you want to be free, you must find the answer for yourself. Because to be lost as a little seer in a world of seen objects is complete suffering. It's duality. Anytime there's a seer and a seen, there's gonna be suffering because there's duality. There's no peace in duality. There's no peace in form. Anytime there's anything seen, there's form. Can you understand that? So look to who sees. Who is the witness of all this form? Who is the ultimate seer with a capital S? Who sees all? Who am I? Ramana Maharshi makes this teaching extremely simple. You could say that everything seen is a thought. It all occurs in mind. Just like at night when you dream. You wake up and you feel like, that was all in my mind. Well, this waking state that you think you're a little creature in, when you wake up from it, you realize that was all mind. This is all mind, and mind as such does not exist. The seer is so much more real than the seen. So always look to the seer, the awareness, the consciousness of everything that is seen. And when you find that one, there is no more seen. There is only this seer who doesn't see a single thing, because there only is this one. Is it clear how to get to non-duality? As if one could get there? There's only a getting there when there's this division of seer and seen, knower and known, I and you, me and it. Anytime there's a division, it's duality. So this teaching is the clearest, most precise way for you yourself to understand this one perfect existence. Why? Why put the effort in to do such a thing? Well, for your own happiness, really. You want your own happiness, and you can't deny that. Your natural state is absolutely happy and utterly free. And you will seek, you will search until you are utterly free. Because we want to get back to our natural state. That's just the way it is. It's unnatural to be unfree. And it's unnatural to think you're a human form when you're not. You're just not. That's why human beings suffer, because they're not human beings. It's not the truth. Who you are is so much faster, more blissful. It's infinitely more blissful, and there's no comparison between thinking you're a person and knowing the truth of who you really are. So if this makes any sense to you whatsoever, practice with this inquiry and this wonderful teaching. Ask yourself, who am I? It won't be a horrible struggle, it'll be more and more freedom. It may be intense at times, that's okay. The freedom and joy you'll see as you practice. Are yourself. Freedom and joy are yourself. It makes no sense to be anything other than absolutely free. Does anybody have a question?